our agreement is null and void, and we're going to take more territory. And I love this argument. They say, oh, we need a buffer zone. Okay, but that was the original argument for the parts of the Golan Heights that Israel already holds. They say this is a buffer zone. So in other words, they're saying we need a buffer zone for the buffer zone. Guys, who are we kidding? Just come out and say it. Just come out and say it. You want more land. You want more territory. You don't care about the rules. You don't care about the laws. In your heart of hearts, if you're Benjamin Netanyahu, you want to create greater Israel. This is something that, we talked about when it became very clear that Israel wanted to resettle Gaza. And now they're making a move on the West Bank as well. We said, hey, man, it's this whole greater Israel thing. It might seem like a conspiracy theory, but now we're starting to see some very clear evidence. They want to create a greater Israel. And, well, what the fuck else would you call this? Stealing more Syrian land the day Assad falls? And I'm supposed to conclude you don't want to create a greater Israel? You don't want to steal more territory? Netanyahu said on Sunday that the decades-old agreement had collapsed and that Syrian soldiers had abandoned their positions, necessitating the Israeli takeover. That's cute. We will not allow any hostile force to establish itself on our border, he said. Israel captured a portion of the Golan Heights in the 1967 war and annexed it. The international community, except for the U.S., views it as illegally occupied Syrian territory. After Netanyahu's comments, the Israeli military issued an urgent warning to Syrians living in Ofania, Kenitra, Al-Hamadiyah, Samdaniya, and Al-Garbiya, and Al-Catania, all close to the Israeli-occupied portion of the Golan Heights. The fighting in your area is forcing the IDF to act. I love that. And we do not intend to harm you. Oh, I'm sure. This is the shit they say to Palestinians in Gaza, too. Like, bro, we don't want to harm you. We just happened to kill your grandma. Colonel Avikay Adre, the Israeli army's Arabic language spokesman, said on social media, agricultural areas in the Israeli-occupied Golan Heights were declared closed military zones, and some schools shifted to online classes in anticipation of unrest. Syrians poured into the streets, echoing with celebratory gunfire on Sunday after a stunning opposition advance reached the capital of Damascus, putting an end to the al-Assad's family's 50 years of iron rule, but raising questions about the future of the country and the wider region. So Netanyahu was cheering Assad getting overthrown. Speaking from the Lebanese-Syrian border, Al Jazeera's Zain Basravi said that Israel was taking advantage of Assad's fall. Quote, what is happening is certainly to the benefit of the Israeli military, of the Israeli government. They are getting what they had said they wanted all along, weaker neighbors so that they can push their regional agenda. Wow. So more land grabs here. And look, there are wider implications to the fall of Syria. So Syria was used for a supply line that would help Hezbollah in Lebanon. It would help Palestinians. And now, with that supply line through Iran, starting in Iran, going through Syria, with that now gone, that's sort of like a crucial supply line for Palestinians and for Hezbollah is now donezo. So that doesn't bode well for Hezbollah and their ability to defend themselves from Israel. Certainly doesn't bode well for Palestinians. And then, of course, you have bigger questions about who these people are that took over the Syrian government. I mean, it wasn't that long ago that they were officially card-carrying members of Al-Qaeda. And the guy who leads HTS, which is the offshoot of Al-Qaeda that tried to rebrand, he's pretending now to be some sort of secular liberal who's in favor of pluralism. But, of course, that's just an act. And it's like, so what's going to happen here? I mean, any of a number of things can happen. It could be the case that this government just is aligned with the likes of Saudi Arabia and Qatar and Israel. It's possible that that's not the case and they end up fighting with Israel. I think that's probably more unlikely, though, to be honest. I know the U.S. is going to try to get their hands involved in this new Syrian government and try to mold them to be a good U.S. ally. I don't know how much you can mold Al-Qaeda members, right? But Israel views this as an opportunity. Clearly, this group of rebels does not have the ability at the moment to not only take, they did take Aleppo, but take Damascus, but also, control their borders? No, of course they can't. And so is Israel's viewing this as an opportunity. We're going to take more land. Now, there's also reports of Israel bombing Damascus and bombing what they say are all these weapons depots that were the former Syrian government's weapons depots all around Syria. You have the U.S. saying we bombed 75 ISIS targets. And look, I think the fear was this al-Qaeda group takes over and they're freeing prisoners all over the place. Some of these people are genuinely political prisoners and should have never been locked up in the first place. But also some of these people are literally like jihadists who had been locked up in the course of the war. And the U.S. is bombing these ISIS strongholds because they fear, well, ISIS can be released and can be used to align themselves with this new, effectively jihadist government in Syria. So everybody's playing with fire. But as that saying from Game of Thrones goes, chaos is a ladder, and that's what Netanyahu is doing here. He's using this chaos towards his ends. And is this the end of their ambitions? I fucking doubt it. I doubt it. Because if you look at that map of Greater Israel, it includes portions of a bunch of other countries. And anytime they see an opportunity, they're going to do it. And of course, the entire time, they're going to say, oh, it's defensive. Oh, it's for a buffer zone. Oh, it's because, we're so scared of them, etc. It's like, I don't know, man. You're the ones who've been carrying out a genocide for over a year now. You're the ones who are talking about resettling Gaza. You're the ones who are talking about officially annexing the West Bank, which is something Trump is supposed to let them do because Miriam Adelson gave him $100 million. So this is not good. The map is being remade as we speak, basically. The map is being remade as we speak. And it's a time of great, tremendous instability. And like I said, this has broader consequences for Russia and Iran and Hezbollah and Lebanon to lose a crucial ally to themselves bodes very poorly for them in the long run. And remember, this is why the Syrian government fell, because Russia's busy in Ukraine, all the money, all the manpower, all the weapons are over there. Iran is on the brink of war with Israel, so they're probably prepping their defenses. Hezbollah is in a war with Israel, so they're a little busy. So Assad didn't have the same sort of help that he had previously. So now these rebels have taken over. And again, look, I hope it doesn't wind up being another Libya. I hope it doesn't wind up being another Iraq. But I do think it's relatively naive at this point to feel that way, because we have recent examples in history. What happens when you overthrow some authoritarian leader in the region? And obviously the hope is let's have democracy, let's have freedom, etc. But here we are, and nobody's even having a conversation about elections in Syria. Okay, if you really liberated the people, do elections. Are they going to do it? I don't know. Color me skeptical that the former Al-Qaeda guy who did terrorist attacks, who now took over a country, is going to be, a small d Democrat. Please. So anyway, Israel's taking advantage of the chaos. And a lot of open questions moving forward, y'all, but I'll finish on this one here. Israeli strikes in Damascus today have been very intensive, and the Israeli cabinet approved a further invasion of Syrian territory. So that's the other thing, like, how far is Israel going to go on this, right? Is Israel going to now look at the fact that Assad was overthrown and say, well, this government is just as legitimate as if we were to take all of Syria. So are they interested in taking more, even more territory in Syria? The Israeli Air Force strikes in Syria today have been very intensive. Defense sources tell the Times of Israel. Dozens of IAF aircraft struck numerous targets across Syria with a focus on destroying strategic weapons that could fall into the hands of elements hostile to Israel following the collapse of the Assad regime. The strikes have also targeted weapon production capabilities and air defense sites. So I don't know, man. The wider war in the Middle East is clearly already here. It's just a question of how it advances and what the pieces on the chessboard do. But it's real ugly, and we are playing with fire to say the least. Hey y'all, do me a favor and like and subscribe. It helps out big time in the algorithm. Click the bell as well for notifications when videos drop, and watch that video on screen right now. You know you want to.